obviously eventually I talked to the administration
of course.
and all of that. And they're like, you know, they vetted me.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, sure. You're 22 and you want to coach this team for free. Sounds good to us.
Yeah.
Like
I did not coach for free.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Welcome to another episode of Moms Off Script. I'm Meg.
I'm Mere.
And our pasts really bring out like a part of who we are and shape us to be who we are as parents. And for both of us, we have just a common link in our past.
A very significant common link for both of us.
But a little different.
Yes.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about how kind of our hobbies as a kid grew into careers, which then kind of shaped how we parent.
Yeah. And we haven't actually said it yet, but coaching, right? We are both athletic coaches.
We are.
Which is kind of unusual. There's not a lot of like,
I know.
It's a niche thing to grow into an athletic coaching position in collegiate athletics. And I feel like it's odd that we both followed this path. And like you said, in very different spaces.
Yeah. Well, and even like when we met, we were coaching in the same conference.
Yeah, completely.
Which I guess is like regional. So like that makes sense. But yeah.
No, still. I mean, it's a little bit different because for you, your coaching career, yours was your career. That was your full-time job.
My career, yes.
Mine was definitely not. They don't let dance. I mean, there's not many dance coaches that have that as their full-time career.
Honestly, diving, there's not many full-time diving coaches.
I'm amazed that you have that. Give me the journey to arriving into that.
The second I was done participating in college athletics, like I knew I was going to miss it deeply.
Yeah.
I also, at that point in my life, I lived at home. I was on a career path. I went to school to be a massage therapist. I still had another year of school. So I was working part-time, piecing all the things together. And I was a lifeguard.
Mm-hmm.
So
as one does as a swimmer.
Right. I mean, it was exactly. So I was lifeguarding. Our local YMCA needed a coach. I had just finished all the puzzle pieces put into place. And I started coaching swimming. Give me a year and a half there. I'm now a massage therapist. I'm now living on my own. I'm still doing this as a part-time job because I'm piecing everything together. An opportunity comes up at a local high school for a diving coach. Now, I
didn't even know high schools had diving teams.
Oh, yeah.
This is news to me.
Most high schools have diving teams.
See, there you go.
Yeah,
something new.
Which is eventually maybe a career that I'll pick back up again, high school diving.
I could see it.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was in my future. It's not on my 2026 bingo card, but I wouldn't be so shocked if
down the road
if we saw that at some point.
Okay, so now you're doing high school.
Correct. So now I'm doing high school. I was coaching high school girls and boys. I was about 21, 22 when I started doing that. Now at that point I was coaching 18-year-olds, which we will get into eventually, and what that looked like. But that was a very interesting process.
Especially being so young yourself.
Right. So continuing on my journey, I spent 6 years at this school. Where I also then went back to school, got my bachelor's degree, worked on some other things. So this was always the constant for me. I went through multiple career changes. I then finished my bachelor's degree, got a position at a college in DC as a sports information director. And so within that athletic department there, they had just like, it was so serendipitous. They had literally installed a diving board 2 months before I accepted this position.
Oh my gosh.
And so I accepted the position as a sports information director. I arrive on campus. Literally the first call I get to my office once I'm like all oriented and stuff was from the swim coach. I can't remember if he marched right up or if he shot me an email, but it was literally the first head coach to introduce himself to me. And it wasn't by way of needing sports information help. He was like, when you're ready to talk, like, you're my diving coach.
Did he know your background?
He did.
Yeah. Okay. That's amazing.
Yes. The swimming and diving world, even though it's big, it's actually
I get that.
small.
Dance is the same.
Yeah.
Everyone knows everyone.
So I take this position. I end up being the part-time diving coach. I redevelop a program that had been dormant, if you will.
There's a good word.
For 20 years prior to my arrival. And I spent 4 years at that school. And when I was kind of ready to move on from my sports information position role at that school, I was looking for other sports information positions. I was looking for other administrative positions, and I landed on a full-time diving position, which we said at the top of the episode is very rare. And it was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. And so that's kind of my story, the journey,
the career arc.
Career arc, if you will, into coaching. What about you?
Mine is totally different. So at dance, full-time dance coaches, they exist, don't get me wrong, but they're at D1, D1A programs, right? And that's not where I was. Mm-hmm. So we talked about this before. I grew up dancing on a collegiate dance team. I danced through all through my childhood, competitive in high school, competitive through college. And when I graduated, same as you, I felt like I really miss this. This is a part of my past. There's not a lot of opportunities for adult dancing unless you're a professional dancer, right? Which that's not the path that I was taking.
You didn't want to get on Dancing with the Stars?
Dude, I wish. I'm not that good. I'm not good enough to do that kind of stuff. So
I think you had to be winning awards at 4 years old.
Yeah, no. So that's not me, unfortunately. So I took about a year off after college, did the whole kind of, move to Boston, get a job at a dance store, get fired from said dance job, move home, find an office job, right? Just kind of did the rounds. I think I moved 5 times in that year, had multiple jobs, just couldn't get settled.
Okay.
Finally got settled with a decent office job, which is the company I'm at now. So this is my first job there. And I remember my husband saying to me, okay, so when are you going to find something dance related?
Because 2 questions. Mm-hmm. 2 questions. You mentioned you're at the company that you were at.
Yes.
You mentioned that was your first job there. Have you since moved out of that role?
Yes. Okay. So I've had many roles since then. I've been at the same company for 12 years. I started as an admin.
Okay.
And now I'm
not an
admin.
And then you also mentioned your husband chiming in at this point.
Yes.
Was he your husband then or your boyfriend?
No, he was my boyfriend at the time. Okay. We were living together. And I think he saw what being out of that world was doing to me. And he was like, you need this piece in your life. Now that you've settled. He watched me on this crazy year and just being okay, we're living together. You've got a job that you like. Time to fit this piece back in somehow. Right.
And how long had you been with your husband at this point?
5 years.
Okay. And your high school sweethearts?
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
It's a story for another podcast.
Yeah.
So we could talk about that.
I think we knew that, but I just wanted to.
Yeah. We'd been together for 5 years. So he knows me inside and out. He knows what dance is to me and knew that this was something that I needed back in my life.
Yeah.
So I put out some feelers to some local colleges and I got a reach out back from one in particular. And I don't mind saying it's Springfield College. So this is this is where I coached. And there were a couple of girls who were running the team there. They had founded the team 2 years ago and they were looking for a coach. They said, we just founded the team. We want to start competing, but we don't have a coach. And I remember sitting down to meet these 2 girls, Allison and Alicia. Yeah. And we sat down and we were looking at each other. I'm going to act this out. I know this is going to be audio, but we were both smiling at I don't know who was more excited.
Smile I've ever seen on
they
your
were
face.
so excited because they're you want to be our coach? And I was so excited because I was do you want to coach? They could not contain their excitement and I could not contain my excitement. It was just from go, we knew this was going to be a good fit. Mm-hmm. So we walked away from that meeting being okay, so this is happening. And I came home and told my then boyfriend, now husband, and I was like, I think this is going to work out. It's local to us. I think this is going to be perfect. And I started coaching that season. So that we had that conversation in August and I started coaching that September. That was my first season with the team. And we started competing. We did state and regional competitions and I coached that team for 10 years. I never moved on from it. I stuck with them the entire time. And I felt I kind of watched them grow from this non-competitive campus group to national competitors on the national stage. And it was incredible. It was such an amazing journey. It was so fun for me to keep dance in my life in that way and to help them grow. And I, very different from your journey because this isn't, at least in my experience in the dance world, it wasn't a position I applied for. It was me talking to the students and being do you want to coach? Obviously, eventually I talked to the administration and all of that. And they're they vetted me and they're yeah, sure. You're 22 and you want to coach this team for free. sounds good to us.
Yeah.
Like
I did not coach for free.
Yeah, no, I was in the negatives. And most dance coaches will tell you that.
Right.
Like maybe you get a stipend if you're lucky, but between gas and rhinestones and makeup and whatever else you end up spending, you're in the negative. And like you have to pay to go to nationals. So I'm not making enough money to cover going to nationals. So anyway, that's how I ended up in the position that I was in. I was very thankful and very lucky that they wanted me to be there and I wanted to be there. And so yeah, being there for 10 years was a long time, but I was really happy to have spent the time there. But you were coaching for even longer, right? Like 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's such a huge part of your life. Like, how do you feel like that shaped you? What do you feel like you brought to the table as a coach? Like, what would your athletes say about you?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's such an interesting point. Like, because at that point, like, yeah, it was more than half my life by the time I was done with it. Right. I had coached for more years than I hadn't.
Right.
And I'd been around a pool for more years than
most of your life at that point.
Than I had. But so, yeah, I think that for me, like the driving force was my athletes.
Yeah.
And what sport does and what sport can teach you. And in a sport like diving where it is so intimate, I had the opportunity to really focus on every single individual athlete that I worked with. And I think my athletes would really say that I like genuinely cared about them and genuinely like my goal for them was success. And so when you think about collegiate athletics and even high school athletics, and what the college experience is, you go to school to learn, right? You go to school to learn. So you're doing an extracurricular activity and your journey there should also be to learn. You're still in an educational building. Yeah. You're still in an educational facility. And so that was an approach that I took to coaching as far as like, I'm here to teach you. I'm here to teach you diving, but I'm also here to teach you how to manage your time, how to manage your mental health, how to manage anything and everything in your life. Because to me, this is a mirror of what your life is going to be. You're going 1,000%. To hit these hurdles and how are you going to deal with them? And my like underlying mindset was always like, I'm a constant. Because you enter your first year and now in some school structures, you get an advisor on day one. I know at the last school I was at, you didn't pick your advisor till your junior year, right? Or like after the end of your sophomore year. So you have professors that you like. You have advisors that you see once or twice a month. You have, people that work in the cafeteria or maintenance staff that you see on a regular basis. But your coach is the person that you see every day for 19 weeks.
That's wild. Like, see, I know that, but I don't think I've ever like thought about it in that way. From day one of freshman year to last day of senior year.
Right. You start as a first year and you leave as a senior. So your coach is that one touchstone that you have for your entire college experience.
Yeah.
And for me, I did not take that job lightly. And I don't think that I ever will and have. And the other piece that I always thought about was like, where I was when I started coaching, the relationship that I had with my coaches at the time was like, these are people that would be on my guest list at my wedding if I got married tomorrow. Now, do I think that I'm going to be on the guest list of more than half of the athletes that I've graduated? Probably not.
I just got to save the date for one of my athletes, like literally this week.
And it's a thing. It's a thing. Like it is. Nice. I want to make an impact on this person's life in such a positive way that they want to share the joyous moments beyond that with 100%. Me. And don't worry if I've coached you. I'm not expecting a wedding invitation. I do know how expensive weddings are, but I get texts from my athletes all the time. And I get updates and I send them updates. And I think for me, that was something that was really important, was to be able to be a constant role model, a constant piece of support. And really that shaped my value system as a human.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm talking a lot here, but like would you agree that some of those values that I'm talking about are like some of the values that I bring to our group of people?
I think the thing that resonated with me that you said was like, you really genuinely care. Like, I think that is you at the core of your being, right? Like, I don't think there's an inauthentic bone in your body, right? That like,
thank you.
That's so true.
Yeah. And I think like another piece for me with coaching was like, it's okay to be wrong. I think that we learn and we put coaches up on a pedestal, but at the end of the day, we're humans, right? And we don't know everything, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel. And we can say to our athletes, hey, I need to go do this research, or like, we need to trial and error together.
Yeah.
Or, or so-and-so did it this way, we're going to try it. And if it doesn't work, we'll jump ship and go somewhere else with it. And I think that was a big piece for me with my athletes, was being able for them to see me as a human.
Yeah. I think what's resonating to me a lot with what you're saying right now is you're trying to model like ways to go about the world, right? And like how to interact and how to be an adult and how to deal with problems and all of that stuff. And that I felt the same way. And actually one of the hardest things for me about leaving coaching was, I made the decision to leave coaching after my son was born, before I was pregnant with my daughter. We knew we wanted to have a second kid. And I was like, I just don't think I can continue to give the time to this team that they deserve.
Right.
They were asking for me to be at more things. I was like, I need to be at less things. Like we were no longer, I wasn't able to give them what they need. But one of the reasons I really struggled with that decision is because I really wanted to be able to continue to show them how you can be a mom and still do those things, right? And still find time for those things that you love. And I had to kind of come to terms with like, okay, being a mom doesn't mean you still do everything, right? Like it means that the way you look at things, it may adapt, right? Like I still try and go to dance class. I still have dance in my life, but it looks a little different than how it did before I was a mom. And, I still work. I still work out. I still have my friends. I still have time with my husband. I'm like, obviously momming takes a lot of my life. But coming back to your point about like trying to model what it is to go about the world and be a good human and make mistakes and learn and grow, I absolutely felt like that. Like I wanted them to be able to see me approach challenges, handle stress, balance motherhood, and all those things. And that was a really hard thing about leaving. I was like, I hope they don't see this as like, well, you become a mom and you can't coach anymore, right? Like it just means things adapt and change. Yeah.
Now, did you feel that way towards the end, or did you always have that like modeling approach to your coaching style?
It wasn't the whole time. I think at the beginning, because I started coaching when I was 23 and my dancers were 18 to 22, right? Like I was barely older than them. So I did not feel as much of a sense of like, let me model the right thing to them, right? I was just like, I need to draw some boundaries so that they see me as an adult and not just like another student, right? But eventually, after a couple of years of coaching, as I gained more confidence, I definitely started to feel that like, I have an opportunity here to shape them. And I meant to ask you this. Did you only coach women's diving or did you men's and women's?
Men's and women's.
Okay. So that was a little different on my end, is that dance is open to men and women, but I only ever had women. We had, I don't think we even had guys audition. It was always open to guys, but we just, that was not the path that we ended up following. So especially salient to me to have a group of 18 to 22-year-old women and being like, wow, I'm, 5 years down the road from where they're all going to be. What can I teach them now so that they're better positioned to handle the future than I am right now, right? Like that was just always so salient to me. And you really hit the nail on the head when you were talking about like, yeah, I'm here to teach you to dive. Like, yeah, I'm here to teach you to dance. But like in 30 years, it's not going to matter if you're able to dance anymore. But it is going to matter that you can manage your time and you can set boundaries and you can communicate effectively and you can work as a team and you can deliver what you said you were going to deliver and have motivation and dedication and willpower, like all these things that actually matter in the long term. And that became super salient to me like a few years into coaching. And that would absolutely became a core piece of my coaching philosophy.
Yeah. And just to have like a strong woman to look up to as a coach is amazing.
Yeah. I was so aware of that and just like stressed by it.
I was just going to say, did that force you to grow up?
I don't know that it forced me to grow up, but it made me very aware of like who I was when I was in the studio and what I brought to the table and like, how I presented myself to them and how I talked about the world and work and life. And like, I never tried to hide things from them. Like I was always honest about like when things were hard at work or when I was coming from the like I said, this was my full-time job. I worked a full day and then I would go to practice. So I was always honest about like, I had a tough day or like I just worked, they had this big project, this big presentation, blah, blah, blah. But like, I'm brushing it off and I'm here, because they're dealing with the same thing. They maybe had a long day of classes. They had a big project. They had a final that day. They're stressed.
100%.
So I'm trying to model for them, like, you can have a tough day and you can deal with hard shit during the day. And then you can take a breath and you can shift gears and you can be present in this moment.
Right.
So yeah, I tried.
What do you think? So what do you think your athletes would have said about you? Or like, what would they bring out as like your strength as a coach?
I think the thing that they would say is that I was unflappably calm. Like, I never freaked out. One time when my dancers, and here's the thing, with dance, you know, you learn a routine in like October, and you spend October, November, December, January, February, March, April, like 6 months, 7 months cleaning that routine to perfection, right? And curveballs get thrown at you. Someone gets sick and injured and all your formations get messed up and you need to fix it. You know, you find out one of the skills that you built in your routine is illegal and you need to change it. You know, maybe there's a skill that you put in there and people just aren't getting it, so you need to change it. Or, you know, take your pick. Every year it's freaking something multiple times a year. And my dancers, I forget what it was. There was one of those things that we were dealing with, and I was like, okay, we're going to deal with this. I think someone quit. Someone had to remove themselves from the team. We had to rework the formations to adjust for this person missing. And the team was like, oh my God. And I was like, it's fine. We're going to deal with it. We're going to have practice tonight. We're going to rework the formations, and tomorrow it's going to be fine. It's not a big deal. Everybody take a breath. And they were like, we're stressed that you're not stressed. I was like, you need to calm down. Right? Like, it took a lot. I don't know that I ever... Dancers, chime in if you're watching this and I'm wrong with this. I don't know that I ever like lost my mind. It was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Like, I was very calm. I absolutely would try to model like okay, this is the hand we've been dealt. And then instead of spending time like mulling over, oh my God, what are we going to do? We're just going to make a plan and execute on it and move forward. And that was always really important to me.
That's amazing.
It's not like my like default nature, but I was
going to say that takes a lot of skill.
Yeah. I was very intentional about it. And I wanted to make sure that they understood that like things are going to come your way and you'll have a choice when that happens to panic and spend time like bemoaning, like, oh my God, why is this happening? Like, and trying to undo it. Or you can go, well, this sucks. What are we going to do about it? Yeah. And move forward. And that was absolutely what I wanted to model for them.
So sidebar with that, and you can answer if you want to disclose this to your athletes or not, but did you freak out and panic in the car before or after so that you could calm yourself down?
Oh my God. I called my sister. Like, there were so many practices because my sister also coaches a collegiate dance team. There were so many practices. I would drive home and call her and be like, oh my God. Like, can you believe? I cannot believe this is happening. Right. Like, and you need to have an outlet for those kinds of things. And like, but like for your athletes wasn't the outlet. Like for the athletes, I wanted to be strong and calm and confident. The thing they would tell you all the time. This is the thing I said all the time. Control the controllables. Control the controllables. That was like my mantra.
I can't even tell you how many times that has come out of my mouth. Yeah. Especially. Yeah.
All the time. Yes. All the time. So it's like, you know, we're at competition. It's like, oh my God, the floor is really slippery. Oh my God, the music stuttered. Oh my God, it's too quiet. We can't hear it. Oh my God, the team right before us is the best team. Oh my God, we're last. The judges are going to be tired. Okay. Yeah. Control the controllables. None of that is within your control. You can control how you get on that floor and how you perform. And like that. That's what I thought. I'm like, you can't control that someone had to quit. You can't control so-and-so got sick. You can't control that so-and-so's ankle got twisted and they can't dance. What are we doing about it?
Right. That's so funny because a lot of those like uncontrollables are such parallel like uncontrollables in diving. Like the slipperiness. It's slippery. Or like the draw of like who's in front of you and who's behind you. Yes. That was always a big one. Like, so-and-so's before me. Like, they're going to get high scores, which means fine, they're going to be low.
Yeah. It's like, let it go.
Just do your dive.
Yeah.
Do the dive that you know how to do. Do what we practiced and leave it all on the board, leave it all in the pool.
So here's the real question, because we've talked about us as coaches, how we got there, how we impacted our athletes, or how we hope we impacted our athletes.
Yeah.
How did that translate into parenthood? Like, do you feel like you brought your coach self into parenthood?
I do. Yeah. I do think that. I think that it has allowed me to find grace. And find grace within myself, within my kids, and patience. Fun fact, patience. Funny story. Fun fact about me. When I was 7, maybe 8 years old, I don't know how my parents put this into my head, but I asked Santa Claus for patience.
That is amazing.
And Santa Claus brought me a beautiful gold-plated bracelet with the word patience inscribed on it.
Oh my God.
And from then on, I believe I have grown into a more patient human.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that said, I mean, I did some work, and I think that coaching has allowed me to do that as well, and like be more patient. I definitely think there's a little like Christmas magic sprinkled into my patience, but yeah, I mean, I draw a lot from my experience of coaching, intentionally or unintentionally, probably more subconsciously than anything, to the point of being a constant. Like
there's nothing more constant. Oh
right?
My God,
there
right?
is nothing more constant than being their mother.
Than being mom.
And so, yeah, translating that into parenthood. I mean, I'm only 4 years in, but yeah. What about you?
I do think it has impacted my parenting, absolutely, from a patient's perspective. It's funny because there are so many aspects of my life where I am so impatient. I'm very action oriented. When I make a decision on something or I want to do something, I need to do it immediately.
Yeah.
But there are other areas, you know, dealing with a tantrum, letting your kid work it out, figure something out, let them address themselves. I try to be very patient. I think for me, the biggest area where coaching has translated into parenthood for me is like self-empowerment and trying to let them, like, I was really intentional about giving my dancers opportunities to figure things out.
Yes.
Right? Like, hey, I'm going to put you in small groups. You're going to watch each other. You're going to get feedback, and like trying to gently guide them while giving them a lot of opportunity to lead. Or even like my captains, like trying to give them opportunities to run a fundraiser, run a practice, execute on choreography, right? Like trying to be a gentle presence behind the scenes that helps others explore their own leadership and their own potential. And that is absolutely something I bring into motherhood, right? Like, I don't want to be the one that's like, let me help you, let me do it. Like, and jumping in and overly engineering and trying to do everything for them. I love watching my kids figure something out. It is my favorite pastime. And just the look on their face when they're concentrated and they're in something and they know they can do it and they're trying to figure it out. I love nothing more. And that is when I feel most like a coach to them, when I am just a calm presence that they know if they need me, I'm here, but that they also build their own confidence because I'm trusting them to let them figure something out. And that, I think, is the biggest way that I become a coach in my motherhood journey, is not by doing anything, but almost by like empowering them to do it themselves and knowing when to sit back.
I love that.
Are you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I think this is a good one. I'm excited about this. I kind of wish I could ask you and then you could ask me, but then that doesn't work. So
that like defeats the purpose of the idea. So but I did botch a coaching question like a couple episodes ago when we were talking about like our fitness journeys.
Oh, right. And I was like, what would your athletes say? And you're like, I don't know.
I botched it, but I do know
this is redemption.
They would say about that.
This is redemption
at this point. So okay,
all right. Are you ready? This one's not too long. Okay. It's only like 7 or 8.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, ready?
No.
Early practice or late practice?
Early.
Dealing with the admin or dealing with parents?
Both is fine.
You're good with both?
Oh, yeah.
You're amazing. Competition or practice?
Competition.
Do you have any pre-competition rituals?
Oh, this is a good one. I don't know that I did it as a coach. Definitely. Oh, my makeup. I never put I always wore a face to a meet, but I never put my like meet day face on until like an hour before a meet.
Okay. I love that one. What is your favorite team bonding activity?
The human knot. Just kidding.
It's funny because I know exactly what that is. Hashtag coach life.
What's my favorite bonding activity?
Team bonding.
Okay. I don't know if this is team bonding, but one of my favorite things that I would do with my athletes was like when they couldn't get something, I would leave the room. And I would just be like, figure it out. You work as a group, figure it out.
Ooh,
and I felt
love
like that bonded each other as a team, and like
it's like a coaching power move.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Tough love, yes or no?
Yes.
Friends with athletes or draw a line?
Hard line.
Favorite way to reward your athletes?
By playing jump dive.
What is that?
Or, okay, so jump dive, here's the real answer, is a get out dive. That would be the best reward for my athletes.
Okay.
Get out dive.
What does that mean?
What
is a get out
both
dive?
of them.
Okay.
So, is that the last one?
That's the last one.
Okay, great. So a get out dive is basically like if you do this dive practice is over.
Oh.
Yeah. So you typically like, it's a really tricky dive.
Yeah.
Like I want them to do, or they know they can do it, whatever. It's something that we're working on. Sometimes it'll be just like a dive, like everybody's at the end of their rope. So like, just go, if you can do stick this
pike dive.
Yeah, we'll leave. And then jump dive is I think I know what this is. Game. So you do your hurdle.
Yeah.
And at the top of your hurdle, the coach or the person on the side, however the game's working, yells out jump or dive.
Okay.
And then you either have to go in head first or feet first.
Got it.
And so the idea is that your takeoff is excellent and you can turn it into a dive or a jump.
Yeah.
But that's usually not the case. And it
They're
is
like
smack
scrambling
after
in
smack
there.
after smack. And God, I love a good smack.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And other pre-meet ritual, maybe not mine, was braiding my athlete's hair.
Good one.
Yeah. And it wasn't like an every year thing. It was specific groups. Like it was definitely more depending on the year. Thing.
Love it.
Love it.
Wow. So then we just, that was it. That's our coaching
background.
Yeah. A little blip about our coaching.
Yeah. And a little blip into like our philosophy is kind of
30 collective years of coaching condensed down into like 40 minutes.
Not even.
Yeah. Geez.
Incredible. We did it.
Thank you guys so much for being here. This was another awesome episode. You want to do the socials?
Yeah. So we are Moms Off Script on both Instagram and TikTok. You can also email us at momsoffscript@gmail.com. We'd love to hear, were you a coach, or do you have questions for us as coaches, or anything that we've talked about on any of our other episodes?
Or anything you want ever.
Yeah, anything. Or your upcoming episodes. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to read some of your questions or your comments on a future podcast.
Absolutely.
So, thanks for joining.
See you next time.
Bye.
Crushed it. Those 2 good ones in a row.
Moms Off Script is created, designed, filmed, edited, and produced by Megg Abelein and Meredith Finch. Music by Matt Beebe. Photography by Michelle Montineri. Graphic design by Alexia Dulieu, and production consultants Nick DiVasta and Alan DiCicco.